Snow drifted gently from the dark winter sky, settling on rooftops and sidewalks like a soft white blanket. The street glowed with Christmas lights strung across shop windows, their colors reflecting off the icy pavement. People hurried past, bundled in coats and scarves, their laughter mixing with the distant sound of carols. Near the corner, just outside a small bakery, stood a little girl no older than 7. She wore a red scarf that nearly swallowed her face and mittens too big for her hands. In her pocket, she held a few coins she had saved all week, meant for a small toy she had been dreaming about. Her eyes drifted toward a man sitting against the brick wall beside the bakery. He was wrapped in a thin, worn blanket, his shoulders hunched, his breath visible in the cold air. His shoes were soaked, and his hands shook as he tried to warm them by rubbing them together. People walked past him without slowing down, some pretending not to see him at all. The girl watched quietly, her heart heavy in a way she didn't fully understand. She glanced at the bakery window, where fresh bread steamed behind the glass, then back at the man. After a long moment, she stepped inside the bakery, the bell above the door ringing softly. The warmth wrapped around her as she counted her coins on the counter with careful fingers. She pointed shyly to a small loaf of bread and a cup of hot soup. When she stepped back outside, the cold rushed in again, but she didn't stop. She walked toward the man, knelt in the snow, and held out the bag. "Sir," she whispered, her voice trembling, "this is for you. It's warm." The man looked up, disbelief washing over his tired face, as tears quietly fell, melting the snow between them. Across the street, a black car idled beside the curb, its headlights cutting through the falling snow. A man in a tailored coat stepped out, phone pressed to his ear, his brow furrowed with irritation as he argued about deadlines and numbers. He was halfway through his conversation when something made him stop. His eyes drifted toward the bakery, toward the small figure kneeling in the snow. The words on the phone faded as he watched the little girl offer her bag of food, her face glowing with a sincerity he hadn't felt in years. He ended the call without another word and stood there, frozen, not from the cold, but from the weight of what he was seeing. The girl carefully wrapped her own red scarf around the homeless man's neck, tucking it in as if she were caring for someone she loved. The man sitting on the ground tried to protest, but she shook her head gently and smiled. "I'm not cold," she said, though her hands were already pink from the chill. Something inside the businessman cracked open. He remembered Christmas mornings from his childhood, long before his life became about profits and meetings, when kindness came easily and meant everything. Slowly, he crossed the street, his expensive shoes sinking into the snow. "Is he someone you know?" he asked softly, not wanting to disturb the moment. The night moved forward, but the moment refused to fade. The businessman made a few quiet phone calls, his voice low and urgent, while the little girl stood beside her mother, who had rushed back from the shop, confused but grateful. Within minutes, a van arrived with warm blankets and a thermos of soup. The homeless man was helped to his feet, his movements slow but steadier now, his eyes shining with disbelief and relief. He kept thanking the little girl, his voice breaking each time, until she hugged him without hesitation, as if kindness were the most natural thing in the world. News of the moment seemed to travel faster than the snow. The bakery owner stepped outside with more food. A couple offered gloves. A passerby donated a coat. Strangers, once wrapped in their own concerns, found themselves drawn together by a single act of compassion. The street felt warmer, brighter, alive in a way no decoration could create. Later that evening, the man was taken to a shelter where he would receive medical care, a hot meal, and a safe bed for the night. The businessman stayed until everything was arranged, his expression softer, lighter, as if a burden he didn't know he carried had finally lifted. Before leaving, he knelt down in front of the little girl. "You reminded me what Christmas really means," he said quietly. She smiled, holding her mother's hand, unaware of the miracle she had begun. As snow continued to fall and lights shimmered against the night sky, the street returned to its quiet rhythm, but hearts remained changed. That Christmas, no miracle fell from the sky. It walked on small boots, wrapped in a red scarf, and carried kindness wherever it went. The girl looked up at him, surprised but unafraid. "No," she replied, "but it's Christmas. My mom says this is when we're supposed to help people." Her words landed heavier than any accusation. The man nodded, his throat tight. He looked at the homeless man again, not as a problem, but as a person. In that quiet moment, surrounded by falling snow and glowing lights, he made a decision that would change more than just one life.